Utie oha exi ponkno. Needs FM.
Okay.
One.
First, the finance sector.
Okay, finance.
Yeah, I've been in finance sector, so that would naturally be the first one.
Two.
I think transport.
Transport.
Transport comes in mind.
Okay.
Health.
Health.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, four.
It's left with how many? Two?
Two.
Okay, let me look at them carefully, then choose. Let me choose agriculture. Mm-hmm.
And then finally,
the very last one, local government. Local government.
Local
government, yeah.
Mm-hmm. Right. So Fifi Kwete has chosen to speak and assess Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo on finance, on transport, on health, on agri, local government. So, in 5 minutes,
okay,
tell us what you make of the performance of Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo at the finance sector.
Okay. Starting with, and finance is the heart. Because once the heart is in problem, the whole body is in crisis. Because that is where the blood goes to everything. So finance. So once I describe finance, you understand why things are happening in other places. The problem with finance, which really has been the problem of this government, right from the word go, is that in opposition, when they were campaigning, they did not tell the full truth. And they made promises that right from the word go was going to make it difficult for them to survive. Let me give you the promise. When you say, for example, that when I come into office, I'm not going to increase your taxes. I'm not increasing your taxes.
Read my lips.
Read my lips. And at the same time, you say, even though I'm not going to increase your taxes, I'm going to find enough money to be able to, for example, develop this country in 18 years and turn this country into a developed country, or at least much higher than a developing country. Right from the word go, you are in trouble. At the same time, you also said you are going to reduce the borrowing. Not the rate of borrowing, as we notice the Maradona of the NPP, who normally does a lot of the tricks of the NPP, did by going to change and say, oh, no, we did not say reduce borrowing, we mean the rate of borrowing. That's not the truth. They actually say we'll reduce borrowing.
So we all know who the Maradona of NPP is.
Of course, the Maradona. And I mean Maradona, not in a positive sense, unfortunately. I'm talking more about ability to dribble. And that's not very good.
And who is that Maradona?
That's the vice president, of course.
Oh.
He's basically the chief schemer who effectively does all kinds of dribbling left, right, and center and things that are not credible. It's unfortunate it should not be. Anyway.
Wow.
But the point I'm making is this. When you make those promises, you are going to be in difficulty. So once they came into office, the very first thing they realized was that, one, they couldn't do much about revenue. Because you promised you were not going to do anything by way of taxes. Two, you have so many things that you have promised. You promised to be able to build one factory in every district in Ghana. That's 216 at the time they were coming. I'm sure by now, if you do the calculation, maybe it's a little more. You promised to give every village one dam. You promised to give every constituency $1 million, $1 million in every constituency. And so many promises that have been made. You promised to develop infrastructure. You promised to be able to turn Accra into the cleanest city and so on. So all those things depending upon your ability to have resources. So you see, right from the word go, finance has had trouble. One, they have had to break their own promise. So even though they claimed they were not going to increase taxes, they came and they really just increased tax upon tax. The last count, we were talking about 11 new increases that came in taxation. They promised, for example, they were going to reduce some taxation like corporate tax to all people, all companies in Ghana. They have failed to do that. And on the other hand, the expenditures that they claimed they could do has had to suffer because obviously they don't have the money to be able to do that. So the finance, to be honest, in spite of all the nice numbers that they may be putting out, the reality is that finance has not really done well. You see that, for example, in the fact that a lot of contractors have remained for virtually getting to 4 years without getting money.
That has been a cleanup.
A cleanup of what?
Of banks.
Yeah, but first, let's talk about your own commitment. Every government that takes over a country, when we took over in 2009, there were a number of things that were bad. I can tell you, for example, Ghana Commercial Bank, that was the biggest bank in our country. The whole financial sector hinged around Ghana Commercial Bank. Ghana Commercial Bank was a point that it was almost collapsing when we took over in 2009. And the collapse was coming largely because of the huge indebtedness that is the Tema Oil Refinery was owing to Ghana Commercial Bank. Now, we didn't come and then literally close Ghana Commercial Bank or cause a situation where workers had to be retrenched and stuff like that. No, we didn't do that. We solved that problem carefully by ensuring that indebtedness was settled. In fact, Dr. Dufour's statement at the time, which was a very wise statement, was always that money doesn't like noise. So you need to resolve issues without necessarily making too much noise about it. But when you go about every single day on radio, you're making commitment. These banks are collapsing. That one is collapsing. This one is collapsing. You cause fear and panic. And that's exactly what happened in this country. Where naturally people started being
speculation.
Afraid. Exactly. People start being afraid. If you are hearing, for example, that these banks are collapsing, if your money is there, you start taking them out little by little, little by little. Want to change them
capital flight.
Capital flight. Those are the problems it brought about.
So you are waiting to see a positive outcome of Dr. Dufour's court wranglings and possibly make him the running mate then?
To be honest with you, we want truth and justice. It's not good for any person who is, shall I call it, innocent, to be condemned. I'm not in a position to make a pronouncement.
But there are either sides of why you are waiting.
Needs FM.